Dr. Laura Schlesinger attracted both supporters and detractors during her years as a radio talk show host. She gave advice to callers, usually from a conservative point of view, and often with a coarse edginess. In October 2000, Dr. Schlesinger issued an apology in Variety magazine regarding what she called poorly chosen words about homosexuality. She had previously referred to gays as biological errors. Dr. Schlesinger's apology may have been prompted by the support generated by a Dr. Laura letter that went viral in 2000. This morning, I'm going to read the famous, or infamous, Dr. Laura letter. This letter, written in May 2000, may or may not actually have been sent to her. Though it purports to be addressed to just one person, Dr. Laura, it was clearly meant for a general audience. It has been read by thousands of people. In August 2003, a journalist for the Halifax Daily News presented this letter in her column as her own, signing it, "Yours truly, Jane." The reporter, Jane Kansas, was fired. Regardless of who wrote it, the Dr. Laura letter struck a responsive chord with many people. The basic premise of the letter is that homosexuality is wrong because the Christian Bible says so is a flawed argument. And I was reminded of the Ten Commandments on the signpost for you. Dear Dr. Laura, thank you for doing so much to educate people regarding God's law. I've learned a great deal from your show and try to share that knowledge with as many people as I can. When someone tries to defend the homosexual lifestyle, for example, I simply remind them that Leviticus 18:22 clearly states it to be an abomination. End of debate. I do need some advice from you, however, regarding some other elements of God's laws and how to follow them. Number one, Leviticus 25:44 states that I may possess slaves, both male and female, provided they are purchased from neighboring nations. A friend of mine claims that this applies to Mexicans, but not Canadians. Can you clarify? Why can't I own Canadians? Number two, I would like to sell my daughter into slavery, as sanctioned in Exodus 21:7. In this day and age, what do you think would be a fair price for her? Number three, I know that I am not allowed to contact a woman while she is in her period of menstrual unseemliness, according to Leviticus 15:19-24. The problem is, how do I tell? I've tried asking, but most women take offense. Number four, when I burn a bull on the altar as a sacrifice, I know it creates a pleasing odor for the Lord, Leviticus 1:9. The problem is my neighbors. They claim the odor is not pleasing to them. Should I smite them? Number five, I have a neighbor who insists on working on the Sabbath. Exodus 35:2 clearly states he should be put to death. Am I morally obligated to kill him myself, or should I ask the police to do it? Number six, a friend of mine feels that even though eating shellfish is an abomination, Leviticus 11:10, it is a lesser abomination than homosexuality. I don't agree. Can you settle this? Are there degrees of abomination? 7. Leviticus 21:20 states that I may not approach the altar of God if I have a defect in my sight. I have to admit that I wear reading glasses. Does my vision have to be 20/20, or is there some wiggle room here? Number 8. Most of my male friends get their hair trimmed, including the hair around their temples, even though this is expressly forbidden by Leviticus 19:27. How should they die? Number 9. I know from Leviticus 11:6-8 that touching the skin of a dead pig makes me unclean. But may I still play football if I wear gloves? Number 10. My uncle has a farm. He violates Leviticus 19:19 by planting 2 different crops in the same field, as does his wife by wearing garments made of 2 different kinds of thread, cotton polyester blend. He also tends to curse and blaspheme a lot. Is it really necessary that we go to all the trouble of getting the whole town together to stone them? Leviticus 24:10-16. Couldn't we just burn them to death at a private family affair like we do with people who sleep with their in-laws? Leviticus 20:14. I know you've studied these things extensively and thus enjoy considerable expertise in such matters, so I'm confident you can help. Thank you again for reminding us that God's Word is eternal and unchanging.